Okay, well that was weird. Hello everyone. My microphone has changed. Give me 1 second. Okay. Whoa, that's even louder. Can you hear me now? Is audio coming through well enough? Music's a bit loud. That's gonna get changed. Because we're gonna get started relatively early. Is that better now? Can you am I louder? Okay, good. All right, hi everyone. Welcome to the Learn to Big Fish Tray number 3. We're going to be starting with Horned King here. That's starting in about 7 minutes. So if you want to join, it's a nice long window, so come whenever you want. But we're going to get started here on Halicarnassus on Dynamis. If you are not able to make it to Dynamis or to Halicarnassus for any reason whatsoever, please feel free to follow on your own server as well. Bring some friends if you want. But you can follow along as these work. I will be explaining everything that you need to know. If you have any questions, please ask them in chat. Ideally in Twitch if you're watching, but if you ask it in game, that's fine too. I should be able to see it. So, let's get started then. I know we're about to hit ads. I started a smidgen late because I was trying to fix that audio thing. I thought I fixed it. I didn't. But we're going to get started here early. Oh, please feel free to lurk too. That is perfectly fine as well. Oh, no, not with Felania, not kind. I actually got intuition this morning and then did not... Well, then I didn't get Sidereal Whale, but I did get intuition on one of my ults. Let me actually get my Jerkdovum out here. For those of you who are joining, there is one slight change that I made like last second because I forgot. You don't need Honeyworm if you have Brute Leech, but if you have either, it'll be fine. I'll explain it all when we get to that. That'll be for Darkstar in like a couple of hours. An hour. Anyways, let me just press some buttons. Cool. Nexus, I will say, I already have, I haven't announced it yet, but I will do it this weekend. Monday for sure is going to be another Mahjong Monday stream. So Monday night we'll be back on Primal for Mahjong Monday. Vandalize this. Thank you for the follow. Alright, let me look at my fish train. Oh, we got 3 minutes. Holy crap. Good thing this is a quick and easy fish to set up. Okay, for Horned King. Horned King is a big fish caught in the River of Sand. You may be familiar with this because it's the same fishing hole as Cinder Surprise. But it is a mooched fish, mooched off of horned helms. And we'll be using Jerkdovum for this. If you're level 100, it's a little bit quicker, it's a little bit easier. But if you aren't, I will explain that as well. So, to get started, we're going to start with Patience 2. We're going to cast out. And if you're level 100, you're going to use Ambitious Lure up to 3 times. Or until you see you have a feeling your next bite is going to be a large sized fish. Or a large jawed fish, excuse me. And we're only going to be reeling in the strong bites, those 2 exclamation points. That's because this is the only strong bite in the entire fishing hole. That is a straight catch at least. The Horned King, the Horned King, words are hard, is another powerful hook set fish. However, we can't catch it off the straight catch, so we're just going to be using Ambitious Lure until we get one of those horn helms, in which case we are going to reel it in with powerful hook set, and then we will store it using Spare Flight. Alright, so here is my first one. I'm going to use Spare Full Hand. If you want, if you have enough GP, you can use Identical Cast right after using Spare Full Hand and catch a second one if you would like. I don't think it's always necessary, but if you are short on time, or if you just want to be a little more reliable with your mooches, go ahead and use Identical Cast. Ideally, what you would do is you could show up early, you could get 10 Angler's Art stacks while you're getting Horned Helms. I have found that while that is incredibly useful and very, very much like a good quality of life for fishing for this fish, it isn't necessary because the Horned Helm mooch is a loop. You're basically going to be getting stacks anyways while you're actually going for the Horned King. So starting with a few will help, so that's why I'm just gonna probably end around 3 or so if I can, but for the most part, like, you don't need to worry too much about the mooch loops. Now, as the window is opening, you will go ahead and mooch out the Horned Helms that you have gotten. I'm going to wait a second because I mistimed this, and I'm going to just wait for my GP to regen really quick. So give me about a minute here so I can pop this and use patience too, and then properly show what needs to happen. But welcome in, everybody. Again, if you are wanting to join us in-game, I am currently on Halicarnassus in Dynamis. If you don't have the ability to get into Dynamis, or maybe you're watching this in the past, you can just... or watching this in the past. If you're watching this in the past, please let me know. But if you're watching this in the future, like on the VOD or in a guide, please, by all means, follow along at your own. I'm trying to do this all in real time, so it should just be able to match up with your time. What is up, Cough 330? We are just fishing. I just love the image of sticking a live fish in your back pocket. Yes, it's even better when you realize that some of these fish are poisonous or venomous, and you're sticking them into a confined space. Right, so... Alright, so once the window is opened, what you'll do is you can use Patience to select one of your Horned Helms and just cast out. Now, Horned Helm is a pretty reliable fish. This is actually a very nice mooch loop. It is just going to keep mooching into itself. So if you get either a strong bite or a ferocious bite, you're going to be reeling it in either way. Again, using Powerful Hook Set for both. You'll be using Powerful Hook Set exclusively for this fish. Now, the longer the bite in some cases, the more likely it is to be the big fish. That's not 100% the case here. Horned Helm does have a pretty long bite, but the Horned King is slightly bigger. So I am just going to keep mooching this in over and over again. Let's see, what's the biggest moochable fish you can put in your pocket? Probably Jaws of the Undeath. Which is caught in the Isle of Ken in the source. Yes, I have had it slip. Admittedly, I have had the Horned Helm slip in Shadowbringers, but I have had them slip. It isn't super common in the, like, this is probably the 5th time that I've caught this fish. Never underestimate the power of the wolves' butt pockets. Yes, our butt pockets are incredibly strong and big. Alright, so here I have actually ran out of patience too. This is a neat little trick with mooch loops. Before I mooch the fish that would then eventually become a mooch 2 fish, I can use makeshift bait, or I can just mooch this out and then use it before using mooch 2. I'm going to use it now just so I don't forget, but typically when you're doing a mooch loop, you can use makeshift bait before, emphasis on the before, mooch 2, before you actually mooch it, because makeshift bait doesn't change a fish from something that's already activated mooch 2. It doesn't make an average size fish large size, it just makes all of any fish that you catch usable with mooch. So a neat little tip there for just continuing mooch loops. Oh, that's a 32-foot fish. That's 10. Yes. Jaws of Undeath. Very big fish. Again, if anyone has any questions about the fish we're going for, anything that I've said, anything about fishing, please feel free to ask it. Ideally in the stream chats. YouTube, I can see you too, and Twitch, I have you both up now. But if you have to ask it in game, that's fine as well. If you're good on GP2, you can just keep it going using makeshift, if you run out, storing it and using patience 2. Yes, absolutely. Probably makeshift bait was probably the most impactful, most powerful skill that we got out of all of Endwalker. Specifically because now you can just almost effectively maintain 100% mooch loops. Rishi Apple, thank you for the follow. And again, we're just going to keep mooching these hornhelms. I have had some windows where I have only ever mooched one because I was able to keep it going. As I say, as I get a slip. If at any point you get a slip, just go ahead and restart. I'm almost out of makeshift bait, so I'm going to use patience 2 and a cordial here and just pick it back up again. Only fish missing from here now is the dreaded egg. Yes. When is egg up again? When is Cinder up? Next week. Oh no. Sorry. Congratulations, Null. Something that's fun about Horn King, just Horn in general, is when this fish came out during Shadowbringers, we didn't have like makeshift bait, and we had a lot less GP. We didn't have Spareful Hand. So if you were able to get a mooch loop going, it was only as long as your patience duration. So GP management on this fish required a little bit more work. But I think I once ended up having like a solid 17 minutes of mooching. That was like one of my earliest like memories of big fish, just being like, whoa, this is actually kind of cool, when I was able to just keep this specific fish going for like 15 minutes of just mooching over and over and over again. Mooch chains are oddly satisfying. Also, I think I saw someone mention it in chat. Hornhelms and Horn King are pretty big, but the record size for sands, fishing holes, is actually over on the other side of Amarang at the Ambling Caltrop. That is the largest fish. That's the record size fish for sand. Except for cures. Yeah, cures are rough. I got a really long bite. Right, if I was under Patience 2 at that point, I would be using Powerful Hook Set to reel in the Horn King, but since I was not, I'm going to be using Hook. And that's how you use the Horn King. How you catch the Horn King. How big is Ambling Caltrop? That's a great question. Let me check. Because we have that as a pin in the fish cord that Tioto put together. Ambling Caltrop's largest size, 275.4. So 275.4 ilms, which is what? 23 feet. Just a casual 23-foot long lizard. Alright, we got 6 minutes left in this fish. Go ahead and take your time. I'm going to see if I can catch another one. Hold on. Let me actually properly do this. And I'll start with Patience 2. Oh yeah, no, it's a honker of a fish. The size records are no joke. And like just fish sizes in general in Final Fantasy XIV really play into that like whimsy and fanciful, because Ambling Caltrop, it's just a very large lizard. And then you're realizing it's a 23-foot long lizard that lives in a river of sand. Like, that is kind of wild. The largest fish in the game is Problematicus, and it's sitting at it's sitting at 1,062.8 inches, which is 89 feet. And you pull that out of a volcano in the Dravanian Forelands, and the volcano's surface is like a few hundred feet below you. Oh, I guess I can catch it a second time. Warden's pretty big. The freshwater records are kind of weird, because they are broken up into like the actual biomes. So you don't have like, oh, just freshwater, but like rivers, it's Hyphlosaurus at 314.8. For freshwater lakes, it's Lystracanthus at 475.4. Coastlines, which is weird because coastlines are typically where the larger animals are. Like oceans typically have larger things. But for coastlines, it's Chain Shark at 122.7. With then Deep Sea being half Goofa at 787.3. Hey, I mean, Cinder Surprise isn't that small either. I have a physical model of a life-size Cinder Surprise that I made. I'll probably bring it to FanFest. And Cinder Surprise can be 2 feet. It's a 2-foot egg. So yeah, sizes in Final Fantasy XIV fishing are just absolutely whimsical. Yeah, Ethaloon, I made a life-size cinder surprise. Actually, there's 2 in existence. Spoofy Egg, or Spoofy, aka Spoofy Egg, has the other one. I forgot to use makeshift bait because I was thinking about eggs. Also, speaking of FanFest, if you are going to be at FanFest in just over a month now, I am hosting a meetup at the Aquarium of the Pacific on April 23rd from 4 to 6 p.m. Did I have that right? I do have that right. I'm goofing up here. I'm hosting a aquarium meetup at the Aquarium of the Pacific the day before FanFest starts on Thursday, April 23rd from 4 to 6 p.m. RSVPs are open for another week. They close next Friday, probably Friday afternoonish, because that following Monday I have to physically call the aquarium and say, hey, I need 140 tickets. To which they'll go, cool, would you like to pay with cash or credit? So yes, if you're going to be at FanFest, or if you're just in the Anaheim area, you are welcome to come and join that as well. You also don't need to necessarily get the ticket through me. I'm basically just buying tickets for people, and I will basically just manage all of the ticket purchasing for you. So if you have other ways of getting tickets for free, some people have already reached out. They're like, hey, I have memberships there. I can get it for free, or I can get it discounted ones through work. Please get the cheaper ones. You're still welcome to come to the event. Just let me know ahead of time so I can kind of give the aquarium a little bit of a heads up that there's going to be, like, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there's going to be, like, 400 people showing up. It's not 400 people, thank God. It is, I think at last count we were at like 135, I think, which is the biggest event that I've hosted so far. We had a great time at the Gateway Fate outing. Yes, and I'm hoping to do that again. I'm hoping to do the Gateway Fate again, probably after FanFest. I'll book the bus. Because I need to book that bus early. I booked it in June last year, and I got the last one, because it's a big wedding weekend. Alright, we are done. Horn King has fully closed its windows, so if you are waiting for a bite, wait for the bite. I see we have a stander, which means we got a last second catch. Congratulations to Trusana Raha. I'll be there in spirit. If I could have gone to the European Fan Fest, there was like 2 locations that NA Fan Fest could have been at that I would have definitely gone to the NA one. But if it was anywhere else, I was going to see if I can get to the European one instead this year. And if I was going to go to the European one, I would have done a meetup at the Berlin Aquarium. Second, I am getting a spam call. Okay. Been getting a lot of those recently. All right, so our next fish is in 7 minutes. It is Zalera. We're going to be heading to Middle Enosia at the Zephyr Drift. So, Middle Enosia, Summer for Farms, that's it. You may be familiar with this fish as it was one of the Mogtome fish back in the day. But also, it was one of the only fish that fit with the time schedule that I had. So that's why we are doing Zalera. And I haven't caught it yet, so on this character, so we're gonna do that. I have to remember where it is, over here. Alright, so no rush getting here. We have like 6 minutes. So if you want to just get started by using Rat Tail and Patience 2 and just start building some Angler's Art stacks. Good luck on your prog there, Eventide. Yeah, I'm now just realizing that I am, it's the Lalafell Berry. Very Gray, thank you for that follow. And Llama, I do see that you just caught that first cast, so congratulations on your first cast, Horned King. We have they're talking about the post-Moogle hats. I don't even know if I have the post-Moogle hat. I know I don't have it on this character. But yeah, I was eyeballing the European Fan Fest as kind of like a stretch goal for me this year, instead of going to the NA one, so I could go hang out with some European friends. That was almost going to happen, because there was like, I was talking to a friend who I went to the last Fan Fest with, and I was like, there are literally 2 places that I would accept NA FanFest at and be like, yes, let's go, on the West Coast. If it was anywhere like in the Midwest, like Chicago, Austin, New York, Boston, that would have been easy. Like, totally would have done that, because that's a really quick trip for me. But on the West Coast, if it was Seattle or Vancouver, I was like, yeah, I would 100% go there, because I have friends and relatives in Seattle. I've wanted to go to Vancouver, you know, like those types of things. And then they were like, oh yeah, hey, we're going to have it at Anaheim. And I was like, oh, okay, well, what's near the Anaheim Convention Center? Because I knew of the Convention Center, because that's where E3 was. That's where all the big, like, LA game industry conferences were. I didn't realize it was right next door to Disneyland. And I was like, oh, okay, well, now we have to go to that. So, my friend and I, and potentially Mrs. Snacks, were like, yeah, we'll just go, and we'll go and do Disneyland as part of the trip. So, that's almost happening. Ooh, you might not. Disney has a very strict cosplay. They have a very, very, very strict cosplay set of rules. Yeah, fish. I thought you were just saying, like, yeah, like, you were like, yeah, agreeing that Disney has really strict rules. Yeah. I like that about Vegas, was just, like, walking through all the casinos and just seeing, like, Raha Tia playing blackjack. Alright, so as you're getting the last of your Angler's Art stacks together, we can start getting ready for the window, because that opens in about 2 minutes. Oh, I didn't write notes for that fish. Whoops, because we're going to wing it. Alright, so for Zalera, there's two options that you have. If you get an angelfish, you can slap it, and you don't have to worry about, if you don't want to use Modest Slur, excuse me. If you just want to do it the lazy way, slap angelfish, use chum, wait for the window to open. If you want to use Modest Slur, you want to be a little more active, just catch any of the weak bites, and then use Surface Slap on that, and then chum, and then you can just start using Modest Slur. Drink some water. I'm just gonna use slap and. All right, because the window's up in in a minute. See, as a Lalafell, I would say that Lalafell are the Chaos Gremlins. Yes, which is why we love them greatly. Also, Wallaby, you made a comment earlier that I completely missed because I was spieling about FanFest. They should give us a way where we can hold up the fish we caught and screenshot it. I fully agree. The /show fish has been a request for a while. Don't know how that'll work, but it would still be pretty fun. Alright, so the window is now open. You can go ahead and just cast out, and if you aren't level 100, just wait for a bite, because someone just got it. If you feel like it, you can use Ambitious Slur, or Modest Slur. Okay, that was quick. So, I think the thing that a lot of people are thinking about with Showfish is that, they're thinking about it from, the web fishing, or, Animal Crossing route. And we're like, oh, technically that wouldn't really work because that would require all the fish, or even certain fish, to have models. And then people are like, oh, well, what happens if it's, what happens if you use, I don't know, just aquarium fish? And then you're limited to 300 fish. What they could do is lean into the prints. Because that was the original way of showing proof of catch in ancient Japanese times. That's there's that whole art of fish prints. Starts with a G. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. So instead of holding up the fish, they could just have you hold up the canvas showing the print of the fish that you caught. That could be a way that they do show fish and not actually have to worry about modeling almost 2,000 fish. Because almost every fish has every fish that's in the log has a print. You can see that here. You just hold that up instead. Just hold just hold up the angler's canvas instead. That would be fun. That I could see. I think that would actually be kind of fun and cool. And an interesting way of doing that too. I was not paying attention again. Got me monologuing about fish emotes. I think the fun thing about the 23 Vegas the FanFest was, it was seeing everybody, in cosplay walking around Las Vegas in You know, like there's Grahatia at the slots, Emmerich's at the bar, Xenos is watching Cirque du Soleil. Like, it's those types of things. And that was probably one of the highlights. But the best part was not seeing the people in cosplay doing funny things. It was the people who also saw the people in cosplay who had no idea what the frick was going on. And going, why is this cat boy playing some slots? That was funny, was watching people's reactions. Giotaku, thank you. Hey, hello. I'm going to use this moment to finish up my notes on the one fish that I forgot to write notes for. Did I even get the right... I did. I forgot to write down notes for the Undecided. Oh, there we go. Second one. Window's open for another 10 minutes, and then we will be moving on to our next fish. It's a little bit of a slower pace here at the start because I didn't want to put things too cramped. There was a non-zero chance that I might have missed that first window, but we seem to nail it down pretty well. Orwillia, lovely stream to catch. I appreciate the pun, thank you. While I catch up on the big fish journey, yes. Alright, where is the fish from here? Okay. One second. Our final fish of the night is the Undecided, and I forgot to take notes on how to catch him. Which is less of me not knowing how to catch it, more of me writing down notes so I don't forget. Does mean I also didn't fully test the one thing, but I can validate that later. A neat little tool, because I woke up this morning to someone asking about the Garland Tools fish tracker, and then it becoming apparent that the Garland Tools fish tracker is completely broken right now because it doesn't have time restrictions for time-restricted fish, and it's giving like false windows, and it says like Problematicus is always up. So few things there, but it got me thinking about like what resources exist, and something that a lot of people don't know about is one that we pretty much see within the fish cord, is the basically fish stats by Loden. You can search for like ranking stats and bite rates, and you get a bunch of really cool info out of that. Let's see, confession, I already caught all the fish on the train. I just think it's fun not to be alone when fishing. I've also caught all the fish on the train, just not on this character. If you've not already answered, how much do you think the new lure actions and mooch storage have affected the difficulty of previous expansion fish? As a returning fisher, some fishes are way easier than in my memories. So, the new lure skills plus Spareful Hand have made a ton of fish, not necessarily easier, but much more, how do I want to put this? Consistent. Sometimes prep is done a whole lot easier now because you can store a bunch of mooches, so you can now basically guarantee that you're going to get at least, 3 or 4 mooch attempts at the beginning of the window, when previously you might have only ever gotten that many during the window. With the lures, we now have way more control, like scary levels amount of control over which fish could bite or not. I think the example that I always give with how impactful the lures are is there's the legendary fish in the fringes, in the peaks, called Drepanapsis. It is a weather-based legendary fish that requires 2 bond splitters to get an intuition, and then you have the actual, like a 3-minute intuition to catch Drepanapsis. Before Dawn Trail, it was basically a question of, am I going to catch Drepanapsis in this window? You had 23 minutes, and there was a good chance you might not get it, because it was just so slow to get the bond splitters that you need. Now with the lures, the question isn't, am I going to catch Drepanapsis in this? It's, how many am I going to catch? I think the record is somewhere north of 5. I've personally done, I think 4, maybe 5, I forget. But I've caught like 4 Drepanapsis in 23 minutes now. And this is a legendary fish that is pretty challenging. Well, I shouldn't say challenging. That was pretty unreliable. So, yeah, no, definitely a lot of fish got easier after... where are they? A lot of fish definitely got easier with it. Not all of them. Some of them did. Some of them didn't. Like, it's the same way that fish have progressed every expansion. Sometimes they're a whole lot easier. Sometimes they're a little bit easier. Admittedly, we are still figuring out the best ways to use the lures. Like, recently somebody did some numbers on Purse of Riches, and basically what it came down to with Purse of Riches was like, should you use Chum and Ambitious Lure to go for Purse, even though there's 1 weak bite in there? And the answer ended up being, it doesn't matter, it's all pretty even, do whatever you want. So yeah, long story short, yes, there was a ton. The new skills definitely made a big change. Actually, I asked you the other day, but I'll ask again on stream because it's neat, but aware of anyone doing anything fun for the 24-hour All Legendary Fish Day coming up. So, if you didn't know, next week, starting next Friday, at... let me just give the actual time here. Oh, that's right, we have a live letter tomorrow morning. Starting at 5:06 p.m. on Friday, March 20th. That's 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, or Eastern Daylight Time. For the next about 18 to 20 hours, all of the legendary fish will be available to catch at least once. Most of them, many of them multiple times. So if you want, you can try and catch all the legendary fish in 24 hours. Am I going to be doing anything for that? Maybe, maybe not. I have my tabletop night at 7 p.m. on Fridays, so if I do stream, I would probably do it for like an hour and a half to get started, which would not cover a lot of fish. From the looks of it, maybe it might. So I might do a little bit of it, and I might do some of it Saturday morning, but it depends, really. So I might be doing something. It is, yes, it is all the legendary fish. I don't want to say it's all the X.55s, because technically some of them came out in like 5.6 and 4.5. It's kind of weird, but yes, it's all the legendary fish. So fish like Stethocanthus, sidereal whale, Quamaton, Endoceras, Neptodragon, those are all legendary fish. Anyways, the window is about to close, but I think we can just kind of move on to our next one. I think we all caught this. Alright, so our next fish is going to be Judgeray. Now, I've been trying to do a guide on Judgeray for a while, so this is basically my excuse to do a Judgeray guide. And for that, we're going to be heading to Fallgourd Float in the North Stroud. Yes, all 30 legendary fish will be available starting at, like, whatever, 5 or 6. What time is it now? Starting about 2 hours ago next Friday. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Let's go stand over here by the waterfall. I'm going to stand on the bench because I am a heathen and put my boots on benches. Yeah, so they'll all be up. Let me see if I can get the dock together here. Yeah, here it is. There's a dock. There's also, if you're in the fish court, there is a fish train schedule as well. You know what I also didn't post was this fish train schedule. If you want to follow along, here's the schedule for our fish train tonight. My apologies, everybody. Yep, we have the Lalafell friends. Okay. So if you want, go ahead and get started by getting 10 Angler's Art stacks if you would like. We're going to be using Wild Fowl Fly for this. Going to build up a few Angler's Art stacks here. Actually, one of the hunters could tell me this. Is it Thousand Eyes Theta? No, that's Glimmer Scale. Which Judgeray spawns which S rank? Thousand Cast Theta. Thank you. 1000 cast theta is Judgeray. Then which one's Glimmer Scale? Zona Secret. I don't participate in the hunt. If that's not obvious. I don't mind things being like pop-ups and spontaneous and ta-da, but there's a point at which I just don't have the energy to just immediately jump on and deal with the hunt. Oh, I totally forgot. I'm a dummy. I forgot to do that again. I need to set up the bot to get my blue sky to do its thing. So we got 4 minutes left to the window. Let me start my recording so I can do this guide properly. And grab it. Alright, so for Judgeray, I'd grab some Angler's Art stacks ahead of time like I've done here, but specifically to prep, we're mostly just going to be getting a fish to slap, and it'll be specifically any of the strong bites, the 2 exclamation points. So cast out and just reel in basically any of them. They're all pretty good. And then we're going to use hook to reel them in. We'll use surface slap. We'll then use chum, and then we will wait for the window to open, which is at 1700 or so. Okay, so we use surface slap, I'll use chum, and then I'm just gonna wait 3 minutes. Yeah, I could do the hunt. I just kind of do it like if I'm available, I'll do it, and it's like convenient. I don't hop around to like servers or DC servers. I don't even think I've killed any of the Dawn Trail S ranks yet. I've done the like whatever, like the chipmunk and the other one. What's the other one? The snake, that's it. I needed my capybara. I did those early on, but pretty much after that I haven't really done much of hunting. Jorge Barbosa, do you do these trains on the EU servers? I haven't done an EU-based server fish train yet, but the aquarium group on the fish train, or the aquarium group on EU, will occasionally host fish trains. I could maybe do like an Oceania, or maybe even like an EU fish train at some point for fun. Maybe I'll pick like a Saturday afternoon or something, if that works, or a Sunday afternoon, something that's a little bit more EU friendly, and we could host a fish train on that. So yeah, no, I can totally do one. This one I'm doing specifically on this because it's for this character specifically. Alright, minute till the window. Serious hunters scare me, such efficient work. Yeah. Hold on, what is going on with this info? Right, as the window opens, go ahead and cast out. And then you just wait for a ferocious bite, which is the 3 exclamation points. You can use Ambitious Lure if you want. I don't know if I would use it if you're using Chum, just because then it becomes like a time efficiency thing. But if you wanted, you'd be more than welcome to do so however you want. There really is no wrong way to go for Judgeray. As long as you have something slapped and you're actually actively casting out, you're fine. 1000 cast theta is available to spawn right now. Well, if anybody catches Judgeray, there's a chance that we spawn it here on Halicarnassus. Someone let the hunters know that we're doing this. Now, the longer your bite, the more likely it is to be Judgeray. That's just kind of the nature of how this whole window works. Something that I want to bring up too, because it does kind of come up with this type of fish, but just fishing in general that I don't see a lot of people do, is with your high cordial, you want to be using that as soon as you possibly can without it capping the amount, like without basically losing GP because you've maxed out your the max amount of GP that you have. Because that is basically like your limited resource, you want to get that cooldown going as soon as possible. If you have a 5-minute window, but it takes you, 2.5 minutes to actually use your cordial, you're not going to be getting the full use out of it, because by the time that you have a chance to get that second cordial in, you're only going to have like a minute to use 400 GP. You want to be able to burn that as soon as you can and get that cooldown rolling. It's almost like, alright, when you get a ferocious bite, go ahead and reel it in with hook. You don't need patience again for this, but yeah, just use hook to reel it in when it bites. And that's how you catch Judgeray. Anyways, what I was saying was, when it comes to using your cordial, think of it like your really heavy-hitting, high-damage attacks in like a raid or something. You want to use that as soon as you can so that you can continue to use it as many times as possible throughout the window. There's a really good mission. I think it's one of the last EXs. It's one of the last EXs in Fena for the Fisher sequences. That one is a really good. I think it's Vent Inspector. It's the one where you have to catch multiple fish, like 16 or 18 or something like that. That's a really good example of a mission where you need to use your GP as, like, you need to use your cordial, excuse me, as soon as possible without capping, or else you actually are having a bit of a problem. Wait, hold on. Did it actually just spawn? Yep, it did. Hold on one sec. Where is it? Well, yeah, we totally spawned. We totally spawned 1,000 guests. Oh, and it's like right next door. Let's go over there really quick, because we got a little bit of time. I expect it to die relatively quickly, but we might as well go over and at least kill the thing that our group helped spawn. Oh wait, I'm not on my... Glare, there it is. I'm not used to white mage. Okay, cool. We got a hunt done. We did that. Actually, who was the one who got that? That would have been... Let's see if we can see who caught it. It was not Papaya, and it wasn't Lily. Oh, it's just Suna. Okay. Anyways, we still got 4 minutes, so we can kind of just keep going for it for a bit. The next fish we're going to go for is Darkstar, and that is actually a little bit involved, so we're going to jump right to it. If you've already caught Judgeray, hold on to your GP just a little bit. If you haven't got them on you, you can also go get some root leeches right now, because I realized afterwards that those are actually better for Darkstar than the honeyworms that I originally recommended. I love how YouTube emails my YouTube's email account saying, hey, somebody's live on your channel. Like, I know. It's me, YouTube. I'm the one who's live. I hope somebody's live. I told it to be live. Hey, by the way, did you know you were live? Hey, this random dude's live. I mean, I guess it would be handy to know if you were like... if your account got taken over or something like that, then you would be like, hey, I'm glad somebody told me that I'm not streaming. Yeah, multi-person streamer teams make sense, but I don't have that set up. Like, there's only one Fruity Snacks. Well, okay, there's only one Fruity Snacks, 2 fishes, and it's me. There is... just a fair warning, because it's happened. If you are adding me on Blue Sky or Twitter, please make sure you're adding a Fisher Fruity. Or, sorry, Fisher Fruity, not Fruity Snacks. Because I'm not Fruity Snacks on Blue Sky or Twitter. It is, the Fruity Snacks on Blue Sky and Twitter is, what's the correct way to say this on Twitch? an adult artist, an anime adult artist. So yeah, just careful. It is. I will forget about it. I will be the one. I will forget that is who the other Fruity Snacks is, and I will just every time get shocked. It's like, oh right, there's somebody else there. Also on Twitch, there is a Fruity Snacks, who isn't me, because you'll notice that I'm a Fruity Snacks, not Fruity Snacks. The Fruity Snacks on Twitch is like a dead Fortnite account or something like that, or an inactive Fortnite account. Alright, so there's a minute left in this window. We're just gonna kind of just do things until it's over, and then we're gonna head to the Corthus Central Highlands. I'm a little annoyed I was talking during the Judgeray bite, so I might just like vamp over it and just do like an ADR or something like that. Because I really do need to get a Judgeray guide out. I have a Glimmer Scale guide out for Zona Seeker now, but I need to get the Judgeray. I need to get a Judgeray guide out for Thousand Cast Thetas. Theta. Alright, we are headed off to next the Weeping Saint in Corthus Central Highlands. So go ahead and we can start teleporting ourselves out to Corthus Central Highlands. That tank is clipping into the wall. And it's also to the northeast. Alright, so for this fish, there's a few bait we can use. Also, please admire the fact that I cleared out this inventory perfectly. I only have 3 things in it when I started. I am so happy with it, how clean that is. Oh, that's a fate. How long until the fate is over? 10 minutes. I'm gonna go fish out here, so I don't have, like, the fate's over sound. There we go. Let's see, just give me a little space here. Just mostly for the sound, so it doesn't get too confusing on the video, but you're welcome to stay in the shot. Just not too close, because then the audio gets a little weird. This'll do. That way we can have the Lalafell in there too. Though I should totally check something. Give me 1 sec. Why did that crash? Why did that crash? Okay, cool. The Lalafell are not... Damn it, okay. Fine, we'll go in there. We'll deal with the fate. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Just watching the Lalafell run after. Oh, that's actually a little funny. Give me something good here. I always, whenever I do the guides, I always try and make at least a decent looking framing with what I have, just because. Okay, so Darkstar is this big fish in Kortha Central Highlands. It's an intuition fish as well, and basically its prep is broken up into two different parts. The first part is getting the mooches that we're going to be doing, the Abelathian smelts, and then the second part is getting the intuition ready. No particular order that you have to do for this if you have brute leeches, but if you're using honeyworm, I suggest going for the Abelathian smelts first, because you'll get Lamp Marimo as well. But with brute leech, you'll always get Abelathian smelt. So to start, I would use brute leech, use patience 2, cast out, and Abelathian smelt is the only bite on brute leech, and so I am going to just fill up my pockets and catch an Abelathian smelt, store it, do that 3 times, and then I will switch and we'll move over to the int prep phase. The Lala Legion coming for the land. Lots of lamp. Oh, coming to land lots of Lamp Marimos. That even twisted my tongue. So as I bring in my last Abelathian smelt, I'm going to store it with Spareful Hand, and I'm going to switch over to Chocobo Fly. And now with Chocobo Fly, I'm going to catch 4 Lamp Marimo. Because you need 5 for Intuition to actually be triggered, but I don't want to trigger it right now because it's before the window, so I'm going to catch 4, and then right before the window I will catch the 5th. And on Chocobo Fly, Lamp Marimo is basically the only bite, so feel free to kind of just reel in any of the weak bites as you get them. So there's 1. Waiting for the second one. I'm not really going to use Patience 2 after I get this 5th Angler's Art stack. I don't really feel like it's going to be that needed. You can pretty much go for this whole thing with Patience. Alright, so there's 2. And now I'm going to catch 2 more. I don't have it set up on this character, but I do on my main. I have a hidden hotbar that on Intuition fish that I need to keep track of the number of fish that I'm catching. I will just put it on the hotbar, and then I can actually see how many I've caught. Alright, the window is in a minute, so be sure to just catch your Lamp Marimos here. So as I'm reeling in my 4th, the window's about to open, so I'm just going to cast back out again with Chocobo Fly. Don't need to use identical cast at all because, again, Lamp Marimo is the only bite on Chocobo Fly. And I'm going to catch my 5th, and that'll give me Intuition. Once Intuition has triggered, I'm going to immediately select one of my Abalathian smelts that I stored and moosh it. I'm going to use Chum as well, just to kind of help speed things up a little bit. Not necessary, but I was max GP, so I might as well. If it isn't a ferocious bite, I am going to just skip it. I'm going to use Rest and cast back out until I get a ferocious bite. Go ahead and just reel that in with Hook. If I was using Patience at all, I would be using Powerful Hook Set. If it gets away, that's fine. Just keep repeating. Mooching out those Abalathian smelts that you have stored or any that you end up catching. And once you finally get the Ferocious Bite, again, you would use Hook or Powerful Hook Set if you're using Patience to reel in Darkstar. Cool. Now, because I had the primals playing in the background, that might mess with my audio cleanup, so I'm gonna catch another one, the same thing that I did before. I'm just going to basically just do it again. And that way I'll have a clean clip that I can use. I'm not gonna use voice though for that, because you don't have to hear that all again. How slippery are green fishes on average? I'm assuming you mean big fish, just in general. Okay. That's a really good question. So, big fish have... Actually, hold on. So big fish all have fixed slip rates. So there isn't really any way to adjust how much they can or cannot slip, because it's kind of built into their personality that we call, every fish has a personality. Is it super slippery? Is it not? That's what it's built into. Not all fish have a 50% slip rate, though. Some of them have very low slip rates, like they'll only slip 20% of the time. Greater Serpent of Ranka will slip 20% of the time, or 15-20% of the time. However, a fish like the Matriarch is going to slip 93% of the time, because it varies, so it varies between the fish. If you were hearing that someone told you that a fish has a 50% slip rate, it was probably the joke of it's going to slip or it won't, thus being a 50% chance. Oh, you caught Hell's Claw the other day. Congratulations. Fabled fish, which is the blue one that you saw. Those are notoriously more challenging. They're going to be the ones that are going to have some really weird and interesting conditions. Consider them like legendary. I mean, they're called Fabled Legends, but they're like the legendary fish of ocean fishing, so they have much different requirements. I actually have like decent data on the fork bite slip rate if you actually want to know it for real. I think I have it at, let's see. It will slip out of 549 casts and 19 total bites. It had a 3.46 average. This is average chance to bite. And at a 47.37% hook rate. So what's that, like 53% slip rate? So that one almost is 50-50. Furcicata. Arwilia, sorry. It's the legendary fish in Elpis. Also, Jazzy, it's not Snowy all over again. Snowy came after the fabled legendary fish, so it's the original Snowy Praxis. Yes, because all the ocean fishing came out in Stormblood, or not Stormblood. Sorry, Shadowbringers. Snowy Praxis was Endwalker. So Snowy Praxis is a very good example of what legendary fish should, like what we expect for legendary fish. Legendary fish aren't meant to be all like super mean, super evil fish. Like they're not meant to make you hate fishing. They are more unique. I think the term novel is used a lot. Fish that have, combinations that you typically wouldn't see. So like Snowy Praxis, it's a 23-minute window with a 30-35 second intuition. That is a very, very small window, and we had never seen that before until Snowy Praxis. So that is a really good example of like that legendary fish. Lopoceros elegans is another good example. It's a straight catch fish that bites relatively quickly, but also is incredibly slippery. Garliicthus, a really interesting legendary. Very unique in the fact that it requires 12 Basilosaurus to catch. Like, that's what makes legendary fish legendary, not the fact that they are extremely challenging or extremely hard or otherwise mean. It's that they are just unique and interesting and do... The way I like to put it is that they break the usual precedences. Furcicata, it's unique in the fact that it has a 30-minute window. That's what makes Furcicata unique. Alright, we got 2.5 minutes left until our next window for fish. And I can finally just scroll to the bottom and see all the fish left in the train. Yeah, 90-second windows. Furcicata is another good example of a legendary fish because it is, it's such a short window. It's short and it's a split window, which means it's technically a hour long window, but it straddles a weather transition, so it's never an hour long. It's only two 30-minute windows, two 30 Eorzea time minute windows. Like, that's a interesting fish. So technically we saw it with fingers, that's a whole other thing, but blah, 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 blah. But yeah, the one redeeming quality for Endwalker fishing, which was relatively disappointing, Endwalker felt a little sad when it came to its fish. But the Endwalker legends they have aged well, I think is probably the best way to put it. I think Furcicata is a little boring because it's just Aelidscan 2. But it is at least like they're all, relatively interesting. Now, if you ask me what I want to see for Dawntrail fish, the answer is going to be I want to see the Heavensward era fish again. Fish that I can have multiple intuitions per window, so I'm not optimizing my time in the intuition itself. I am optimizing and thinking on, okay, how am I going to get this next intuition relatively quickly? All right, Darkstar is closing. It looks like everyone is done and or dead, so we can move on to the Tempest. We're going to specifically go to the Macarenzi's angle. And I hope you have flying unlocked. It might be because I haven't been fishing for far too long. But none of the legendaries have felt unfair so far. If every fish in the game was like that, it would suck. Yes. But it's only 6 fish per expansion, yeah. This is a thing that I think a lot of people are, to use the term that the kids use, crashing out over. Doctrix XQQ. Doc, that's what we'll say. Hi, thanks. Thank you for resubscribing for 7 months. Jeez, I have been doing this already for a while. Hi, hope you're doing well. I am doing well. I actually had a pretty good day today. It was pretty chill. Started a new game just because I needed some time to kill. No, let's stand in the water. Let's stand next to this shell. Anyway, so this is the one thing that I think I'm seeing a lot of people do with, like, Purse of Riches, and we were just having this conversation today, some of the expert anglers and I, and in the fish court. A lot of people with Purse of Riches are saying, oh, if they're doing this with Purse of Riches, how bad are the 7.5 and 7.55 fish going to be? And the answer is, we don't know, and it's not likely that they're going to be any worse. Bobblers, thank you for the follow. It is... It's like, it's going to just be a few fish, and the legendary fish aren't unfair. Like, there is no fish in this game that is unfair. Even lancet fish, which is probably one of the weirdest fish in the game, is not unfair. It's actually incredibly fair. So you see a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, these are going to be so terrible, it's bad. Like, when are fishers going to realize that the developers hate them? If the developers hated us, they would not have given us what they gave us in Dawntrail. Because Dawntrail, with a few shortcomings, mostly around cosmic exploration, and I'm not going to go on that rant again. Dawntrail has been amazing for fish because it has shown that someone actually put a ton of thought into it. See, yeah, if the developers hated fishers, they also would not have they would have gotten rid of a ton of stuff. Like, they would have gotten rid of all the time conditions. They would have made fish eyes, like, always available. They would have just told us what the big fish conditions are from the start. Like, there's a lot of things they could do to destroy it, and they haven't. They've had the opportunity to do a lot of things, and they haven't. Anyways, we got 2 minutes to Starchaser. Let me reset my recording here. Now, I'm going to say that, and I know I'm saying that on the internet, so it's here permanently. But I'm always nervous that they're going to make big changes to Fisher because of feedback that people have been giving in various places, and I think we saw that, like, with Cosmic Exploration. I'm always nervous that they're going to do something to just normalize Fisher, but they've also been doing a lot of things this expansion that, to me, it looks like they acknowledge that Fisher is different and should stay different because it is optional, and it's like, it's not hurting anybody to have Purse of Riches in there. Really isn't, so it's like, why worry? Okay. For Starchaser, caught here in Purpure in the Tempest, you are going to get started with your Squid Strip, and you're going to go ahead and cast out, and we are going to slap everyone's favorite Tempest fish, Stormfish, which is the Strong Bite that I just got. And then we're going to use Slap and Chum. And I want everyone to make sure that you do not have snagging on. There is a fish that is caught with snagging in here, and it bites pretty well and pretty often, and you don't want that. Now, Starchaser is a precision hookset fish, so because we've slapped Stormfish, we're not going to be using any of the lures. We are just going to be casting out. It's a very simple slap and chum fish. So as the window opens here at 6:01, eorzea time, I'm going to cast out, and if I get a weak bite or a strong bite, if you didn't slap Stormfish, seriously, slap Stormfish, I will use Rest, but if I get a ferocious bite, I will use Hook. Is it important to wait for X01 instead of... Oh. Is it important to wait for 1 minute after instead of on the hour? Yes, it is. The reason that fishers usually recommend waiting 1 eorzean minute is because of the server communication. If you cast out right at the top of the hour, you might not... The server might not be caught up, and so you might be casting into the previous window, not the window that the fish is actually available. So we wait until 1 minute after the window opens to cast out to ensure that we've actually gotten into the window and actually have a chance of catching the fish with the cast that we just made. That's a really good question that I'm going to clip out. Microwave. I was like, there's beeping. My wife is home and making food. Right, again, as I get the ferocious bite, I'm going to use Hook and reel it in. Anyways, that's a really good question, and I'm going to make a note to see if I can clip that out and throw it up onto my channel at some point. There is some... It's actually a good reason that you asked that, too. There are some fish that have... There's one fish that has given us some issue with that specific timing of of waiting 1 minute after, and that is weirdly Yalaqua and the Greater Serpent of Ronka. For some odd reason, we've had multiple instances of people casting out at 4 minutes after and getting nothing bites when they mooch their Uriops. However, we can't replicate it reliably. It just happens. I even have a video of me casting out and at 10:01, and I get a bite. So there's really no rhyme or reason to it right now, but that's the only one that we're maybe wait a little bit more, just in case. But it's very ping dependent on that end, I think. But we've only ever seen that as an issue with specifically the priest and thus Greater Serpent of Ronka. So I'm on fire with these catches tonight. I'm hoping that all these turn into decent clips for guides. Part of the reason that I'm doing these trains is not just to give all of you a chance to do, a regular fish train, or a chance for people to come and learn about fishing and get questions answered immediately and shown answers if possible. The other reason I'm doing it is that I clip out all of these catches and I turn them into a very quick tip guide is what I call them. They're not like my normal guides. I turn them into quick tip guides, which I then upload, and I put Carby. Carby lets me put them up onto his tracker so that we have more coverage on fish. It just makes it a whole lot easier for me to stream a night, 3 hours of catching fish and explaining it to you all, and then being able to actually just convert them into clips, basically. Now, all the Fish and Dawn Trail, all the everything that's coming out after today, or after any new fish that's coming out will get the usual guide treatment, because I know a lot of people like those. This is really just to help fill up the backlog, because there's almost 300 big fish, and I don't even have most of them covered, and I would like to have as much coverage of guides at some point in time for as many big fish as I can. By extension, does that mean doing a last cast at the top of the hour or at the end of the window worth trying, as opposed to someone assuming defeat as soon as the hour ends? No, you should actually assume that you assume defeat as the hour ends. It's that 0-0, the top of the hour plus a minute, is really a weird gray area, so we don't mess with it. You can cast out at the top of the hour, but you have to meet some very specific conditions in order for it to be in the window. If you watch my Cinder Surprise guide, I actually cast out at the top of the hour in that guide. But that's because I cast out before the server, my client server tick updated to tell me that I was in the wrong window, and the server was like, yeah, no, you casted before the thing goes, you're fine. It's a really weird thing. It is not reliable. Precisely, yeah. Okay. Right, our next fish is over in Yangsha in Doma Castle. Now, we got like 10 minutes, and this is a relatively easy and straightforward fish, so this is a really good time to take a quick break if you need it. We're going to head over to Yangsha and the Doma Castle first, though. I forget if it's Namai or House of Fear. I think it's Namai. Yeah, it's the same thing with dots. It's really weird. It's really interesting. I have a video of... maybe I can go dig it out before we go to Bokuden. Ah, it was House of the Fierce. Also, hi. Okay, Pori, I did see you, and you are welcome. Star Shines. 4 seconds is about, 4 minutes after. It's just a little bit over 10 seconds. It is a lot. And yet we still have, recordings of that. We have, like, legitimate things of saying, I cast it out at this time, and it still didn't work. So, yeah, it's really weird. Let me see if do I still have that video on my channel, is the question. Go to studio really quick because we have some time here. Let me see if I can bring that up. Standing here I think would be okay for the Lalafell can reach over this. Garlemald Express is good. I still like Katisa's Hyperborea as a dungeon track. Let's see, do I still have it saved? Yes, I do. Alright, so this is an unlisted video now. This video, you will see me break down. This is from years ago. I slow it down, and you actually see that I cast at the top of the hour. And I think we spent a good day. Someone spent like a good day doing math and testing and stuff for me to see if Cinder Surprise, because at the time we thought it ended at 59. Or like right at 0 or 59 or something like that. We've since modified that a little bit, because it does close at 59. But we had to check and make sure that I didn't accidentally discover like a window expansion. And we did not. Cinder Surprise is still from midnight to 2 a.m. But that is the thing that's there. But if you want to see that happening, that's how you achieve a top of the hour cast in the window. But as Jazzy is saying, it is so unreliable. I've only ever done it once. And it might be one of the few times that it's actually ever been done, let alone recorded. Alright, we have just a couple of minutes here. We have like 6 minutes, and this is a relatively straightforward fish. So if you need to take a quick break, now is a good time to do it. I need to quickly look at something on my channel because I forgot. Do I even get like responses to this? So here's a question for you all. For those of you who watched my video on Purse of Riches, did any of you notice that there was a quiz in it? Like at all? Does the quiz give me like, do I get an answer? Do I know how many people actually... Nope. Give me 1 second here. I'm just trying to figure something out. Yeah, because some of them have YouTube just added quizzes, and I can't really add that. Like, there's no really easy way for me to add them in. But I've tried it with the purse one just to see if people would like it. I don't know. I'm just wondering because I'm just looking up something here really quick. I'll have to look at that data later. Okay. It shouldn't have been affected by ad block because I have ad block as well. Okay. It's a new feature. It might also just be blah. Because it usually shows up on, like, the right-hand side. How much time do we have? 4 minutes. Easy. Alright, let me get the Bokuden prep here recorded. Alright, so Bokuden is the big fish of Doma Castle, and it is a relatively straightforward fish if you are at level 100. So if you're at level 100 or not, you're going to start off by casting out and you're going to catch the weak bite. Now if you are level 100, you're going to be able to use Modest Lure to basically attract it, and you'll use that up to 3 times or until you get the attraction message, like that. And once you catch the weak bite, you are going to use Surface Slap, Chum, and then you're going to wait for the window to open. And the reason we slap the weak bite is because Bokuden is also a precision hookset fish. And so what will happen when the window opens, I am going to cast out, and then we will use Modest Lure, because that will attract Bokuden, and it is the only other precision hookset fish available at the time. If you are using Fish Eyes, you can do the exact same thing. So like right now, I can use Fish Eyes, cast out, and then use Modest Lure, and use that up to 3 times, wait for a bite, and if I ever get that, I feel like I've attracted a small-jawed fish, you wait, don't use lure after that. But now you just basically repeat that during the entire Fish Eyes window until you get your ferocious bite. Rest anything else. Just wait for the bite. Long bite. And that works perfectly fine with Fish Eyes. Now, if you are doing this without Fish Eyes and you're doing it in the actual window, you basically just do the exact same thing. You just use Chum, don't use Fish Eyes, and you're good to go. Now I can just wait 42 seconds. The music is so dramatic for it. I should build like a calm Final Fantasy playlist. But one of the things I do want to do, and I might do that after 755, is I want to do a fish train that is just fisheye windows. So it's like, it'd be like the off-time fish trade, and it would just be using fish eyes. So if you're not using fish eyes, you just wait until 12:01 to cast out, and then you'll use Modest Slur again, just like you were using fish eyes. And if you get anything besides a Ferocious Bite, those 3 exclamation points, you just use Rest and cast back out. Oh, don't pull a fingers on me, Bokuden. Please don't. That's fine. There we go. I have to watch my own. I might have to watch my own thing to see the quiz, because I think the thing that I want to do a little bit more. Oh, and we have 3 minutes left in the window, so you have 1 eorzea an hour. One of the things that I want to do is, you know, focus a little bit more on, like, I don't want to say teaching, because that's not really it, but, like, informing people of how, you know, get them thinking about fishing, because it is so deep in 14, and not a lot of people really fully understand it. And so I'm thinking about, like, yeah, spreading knowledge, that's a good way of putting it. Finding ways to, you know, get people thinking about, oh, is that how that works with fishing? Like, can we do it that way? Does this work? How, like, and figuring that all out. Just to kind of have it. So YouTube, like, is starting to add a lot more, like, education tools that, as a professional education designer, I have a master's degree in instructional design, which focuses on online learning. I'm trying to find ways that I can explore and use those types of tools to get people more comfortable with fishing. Because I feel like with combat stuff, you're exposed to it from the start. You can figure it out as you go. Like, by the time you're entering your first raid, you know everything. Like, you pretty much know everything you need to know. You just gotta start practicing that raid. With fishing, there is no, like, practice big fish. There is no, like, onboarding. I guess it's probably that would be, like, the corporate term to use. There's no onboarding or enablement tools to get you familiar with how to big fish. And so that's why these trains exist. That's why I do guides on, like, literally every fish. I don't need to do it on every fish. but this could be someone's first big fish. Purse of Riches could be somebody's first big fish. So whenever I make these guides, I have to assume that they don't know anything. Or they have very minimal knowledge of how fishing works. So that's what I'm trying to kind of figure out. Yeah, I know it's the combat equation, or the equating isn't 100% accurate, and you're right. But when you think about, like, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this without starting to sound like, without getting too deep into, like, educational psychology. Because I will go into educational psychology. But first, Bokuden's window is now closed, so we have 5 minutes until the next fish, which is the Winter Queen. And we're going to actually head to... where do I want to go? Tamamizu. And then we will fly out and surface over up at Shoal Rock. Yeah, it's something to do, like, it's... There's learning through familiarity, and, like, you can learn over time by just doing the same thing over again. Like, you can get familiar with your class or your job that you're playing because you're doing it for the entirety of the MSQ. You don't have to just, like, you're not switching between different jobs or classes necessarily. I mean, you could be, but typically you're going to be doing some form of combat to progress the MSQ. That's just how the game works. With fishing, you don't have that. Like, if you want to do stuff that just continues over and over and over again, and you want to start instilling repetitions so that the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve is flatter, blah, 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 you have to be doing it often. But fishing isn't necessarily able to encourage that because it's not something that you can consistently do, technically. Just by the fact of, windows are different and there's no onboarding. Like, the quests kind of introduce you to weather conditions and they kind of introduce you to time conditions, but they don't combine you to both. They don't talk about weather combinations because when the Realm Reborn quests were made, weather combinations didn't exist. They came in at like 2.3, I think, or 2.2. At least the fishing for fish conditions. So it's like, it's kind of weird from an educational standpoint, and as somebody who is interested in those types of things, I find it fascinating, and that's why I'm always experimenting with, like, these trains and the guides that come out of them, and, like, YouTube quizzes and those types of things. Like, what are the things that we can do? It's kind of fun and wild. Yeah. See if I can get a nice little frame here. Yeah, that was... Alright. Alright. The Winter Queen is the big fish of Shoal Rock in the Ruby Sea. For this, it's a straight catch fish, so we are going to basically just follow a simple slap and chum strategy. However, the one thing that I am going to point out is do not have snagging on. There are 3 corals in this fishing hole, and you don't necessarily want them biting. So, with Blue Bobbit, I'm going to cast out, and I'm just going to wait for a strong bite or a weak bite. I'm specifically going to be looking for a Haritsuge. That is the most common bite that is going to be biting on Blue Bobbit, and the one that we're going to want to slap. So with my Haritsuge, I will slap that. I will use chum, and then I'm just going to wait for the window to open. Now, for this fish, especially with the with snagging turned off, the Winter Queen is a powerful hookset fish, which means it will respond favorably to Ambitious Lure. But there are other powerful hookset fish in this fishing hole, and they are pretty dominant in their bites, so it's not really that advantageous to use Ambitious Lure during this window. Again, though, it's one of those where if you wanted to, you wouldn't be hurting it, but it's not really the most efficient based on how we understand the window, or sorry, how we understand the fishing hole works and how the lures work. And the window's open in like 45 seconds. That gives me time to grab a drink. Alright, as the window opens, I'm going to cast out at 16:01. I'll cast out at 16:01, and I'm just going to wait for a bite. I'm going to wait for a ferocious bite. If I get anything that isn't that 3 exclamation point, like this one, I'm going to use rest, use chum, and cast back out. The Winter Queen is also another good fish eyes fish, as it only has a time condition. So with fish eyes, it's always available as long as you're under the fish eyes buff. Just don't use fish eyes between 1600 and 2000 because you don't need to, because that's when it's already up. What do you mean, is it MSQ time? Oh. I didn't even notice. I kind of zoned out on the music. Because I typically try and remove it. DaVinci Resolve has like a tool that will isolate out voice. And so I typically try and use that to diminish the music. Hey, I'm sorry, I have to skip this because of the lyrics. This is a quest fishing hole. This is where you come to catch Haratsuge Sprag. Do I have enough space on my drive for this recording? Yeah. I have to keep an eye on my media drive because I keep... it's starting to run out of space. And I was in the process of buying a small personal server for specifically storing fishing videos. Wild to say. Oh, why are you spending $200 on a server there, Fruity. I need space to store fishing videos for Final Fantasy XIV. Well, that was why I was in the process of buying it, was because the prices were going up. This was like 2-3 months ago. And I never did. I never pulled the trigger on it because I was like, I don't need it. I'm very frugal with my money. Or at least I try and be smart with my money. And I was like, no, this is something that I definitely could use. This will definitely be useful. It was like 4 terabytes. And then at the end of January, I lost my job, and I was like, you know what? I can hold off on that for now. We'll just tighten the purse a little bit. Should definitely name the fish server the aquarium. I probably was. My temporary quote-unquote server is an SSD that's called Sunfish. Yeah, once I get, I think once I get, like, another job, which probably won't be for a few months, or at least, hopefully sooner, but realistically I'm not expecting to see anything until May, probably. Probably, you know, late summer, early fall, if the prices aren't too wild on what I'm looking at, I'll pick it up. Yep, Bobblers is correct. So fish eyes, and it also doesn't work on legendary fish. Purse of Riches is not a legendary fish, it's a common fish. So in 9.0, in 9.0, you'll be able to use it. Oh, come on, Winter Queen, don't ruin our streak. Oh, we still have 5 minutes. Warden of the Seven Hues is a legendary fish, yes, but it's up so often. Plus its intuition fish are not. So you can just fish those out if you want. I need to go back and look at the source recording plugin that I'm using so that I could find a way to do a separate audio record. That way I can just mute the music as a separate track. I'm just too lazy to set that up. It's an easy setup, it's just multi-tracks. I just haven't. Yeah, Warden Prep with fish eyes is really nice. Do Don't ruin our streak. We've caught every fish so far, Winter Queen. I think, right? Yeah. Don't ruin this. Don't ruin it, Winter Queen, please. And when you get a ferocious bite, you'll use hook to reel it in. Again, you don't need to use patience on these straight catch big fish. Patience doesn't change the bite rate of big fish. Cool. Alright, so there is like 2 minutes left in the window? 2.5 minutes left in the window, and then we move to Thanalan. Hello. It's Hum and they're talking in oh, I don't have Hum on this character. Damn it. They're talking Justina and Lily are talking about like the staple emotes for Lalafell, and one of them is Hum, and in my opinion the other one is the one that it makes you go wah, because that makes me laugh every time. Yeah. What? What? Just over and over again, I laugh. But you gotta get the one specific voice that's just like, what? I forget which one it is. I looked it up a little while ago. But if we're all ready, we can go head over actually to Hannibal. We'll be heading to northern Thanalan. Some extra prep time wouldn't actually be bad. Use these spinner baits that I bought, or that I brought over. Brought to you by the Eorzean Aquarium. Camp Blue Fog. So here's a question that's mildly embarrassing. How long did it take everyone to realize that it was Camp Blue Fog and not Camp Blue Frog? Because I think I was in, I don't know, Heaven's Ward, late Heaven's Ward, before I realized that it was Camp Blue Fog, not Camp Blue Frog, because it's all cerulean fields, so hence the blue fog. Yeah, but in Caribou, Maine, there's no caribou, so that's a thing. Same it's a frog fence. Got a lot of people here already. Oh, it's everybody. Oh, now that's a nice shot. Hold on. Gotta get it so that you can't see me floating as much. There we go. That's nice. Okay, Twitch. Stop crashing on me, Twitch. / shocked would be good, yeah. That would be another good one. Okay. Okay. Let me grab my notes on this one really quick. All right. Is there a second pool? This is a fishing hole that I just, don't pay attention to. Because because I don't come here all that often. How much time do we have? 10 minutes? We have 10 minutes, and that's plenty of time for me to quickly look at one of these other great resources. Fish map. Thanalan. Where are we? Northern Thanalan. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's all the way up in the north. Yeah, the other hole is... So here's where we are. This is one that most people go to. This is also blue fog. But the thing is, you can go into this hole. Like, there's a cavern here, but you can't go under it all and pop out over here, I believe. Anyways, let's get into fishing. Push my record button. All right, Hannibal is the big fish of blue fog in northern Thanalan. It is a mooch fish. It is caught off of common sculpin. And in order to prepare, if you are on the free trial, you're not going to be using Spareful Hand, but you should still gather a bunch of Angler's Art stacks, and you will eventually end with a common sculpin being held the same way that we're going to be doing it. But if you are level 100, you are going to restart. Because let me redo that one more time so I can actually hit cast. Okay. So Hannibal is the big fish of blue fog here in northern Thanalan, and it is a mooch fish caught off of a common sculpin. Now, common sculpin are a weak bite. And so in order to prepare, we're going to start with Patience 2, and we're going to cast out. And we're only going to be reeling in weak bites. Those are the 1 exclamation points that are between 12 and 19 seconds or so. So make sure that you have a cast macro. There'll be one in the description. But once you get that weak bite, you'll use Precision Hook Set to reel it in. And if it is common sculpin, which majority of the time it will be, use Spareful Hand and cast back out. If you're on the free trial, you are not going to be able to use Spareful Hand, obviously, at least at the time of recording. So what you'll do is just build up 10 Angler's Art stacks, and then catch a large size common sculpin, and just hold it with Mooch until the window opens. For everyone else, we're just going to be using Patience 2 to catch as many common sculpins as we can, storing them as they come up, and just making our way to 10 Angler's Art stacks. You don't necessarily need to have it. Having 5 is perfectly fine. It just helps with GP management the more you have. This is really weird music for this, though. No, free trial is basically following Fish Eyes, except Fish Eyes starts at the beginning and the trial's at the end. So I am not going to be surprised to hear during either probably EU FanFest, I think, is where they'll probably announce it. The FanFest expansion, or the free trial expansion for Shadowbringers will probably be patch 755, 756 or something. So they'll be able to play Shadowbringers stuff, and I'll have to go through and update all my guides again. But that's good. So once I have a few Angler's Art stacks, I'm pretty much just going to hold a common sculpin with Mooch 1, you can go for more than 5. I think 5, like I said, will be perfectly fine for this fish. But then I'm just going to wait until the window opens and let my GP fully regen. Alright, so we have 5 minutes until the window opens. So if you're still fishing, make sure that you have those 4 common sculpin. Otherwise, grab some Angler's Artifacts and just chill out. Free trial players can't do ultimates. But they can fish. Not too sure. Stormblood into Shadowbringers. You're right, though. That is actually a really great cliffhanger. So I could see... That is valid. I could see them not doing a free trial expansion. At least this time. I could see them doing... If they don't do it this expansion, if 8.0 doesn't kick it up to 5.0, like the free trial up to 5.0, I could see them doing 5 and 6.0 in 9.0. Because then that way we're basically at the Stormblood equivalent of the new arc. Hasn't it been a while since they updated the free trial anyways? No, I mean, they expanded it right before Dawntrail. Yeah, they added Stormblood right before Dawntrail dropped. So it was like 2 years ago. No, 3 years ago. 2.5? Something like that. Yeah. That would have happened... Yeah, that would have happened right around... Oh, was it June? Or was it... Was it NA Fan Fest that they announced it? Or was it the EU Fan Fest? Which would have been August-ish. Alright, window opens in 2:45. So at midnight, the window opens. Oh, Jazz, good point. Thank you for reminding me. So today is what, Thursday? So I'm streaming for sure on Monday. We'll be doing Mahjong Monday. That'll be probably starting a little late, I'm not sure, but keep an eye out on my socials, which you can find. Do I remember the command? Yeah, which you can find there. But I'll be announcing that Sunday afternoonish, what time that'll roughly be. But we'll be doing Mahjong Monday on Primal, most likely. One of these days I want to do a Mahjong day on Oceania, because I've had a lot of people ask about that. And I think it would be really good to get the Oceania players, some actual players. Yeah, the fishmap was made. Fishmap.card resource was made by Rara Putin, Sissa Putin of the Fish Court. Chaz, do you have big 3 dragons? Is that what it is, or do you just have 2 dragons? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's if. They'll stop being scared as soon as 2 other ones are out there on the 2 other ones are on the out on the discard. Then they know you don't have it. Alright, so once the window opens, or again, you could be using fish eyes, you're gonna mooch the common sculpin that you're holding, and then the ones that you have stored. And there's 2 ferocious bites, 2 of those 3 exclamation point bites, Hannibal bites after 18 seconds. Now, that could still be an alligator garfish, but the longer the bite, especially if it's after 23 seconds, the more likely it is to be Hannibal. So at 1 minute past the hour, I'm mooching the 1 common sculpin I have, and I'm going to wait and see if I get a bite longer than 18 seconds. If it's under 18 seconds, I'm just going to use rest and cast back out. But if it's greater than 18 seconds, I'm going to wait and reel in whatever ferocious bite it is. And if you get a slip, that's fine. You can use chum if you'd like as well. Stumbled on you guys a few months ago trying to figure out... Oh, well, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for popping in. It's also worth noting that if you ever get a ferocious bite that you are going to be reeling in and you are using Patience or Patience 2, you'll be using Powerful Hook Set to reel those in. Now this is a longer bite with chum. So again, this could still be an alligator garfish, or it could be a Hannibal. It's just within that time period where it could be one or the other. And it was Hannibal. This might be the first fish train that I have caught every fish on the train. If we catch the Undecided, it will be my first ever 100% fish trade, and I will be very happy for that. Anyways, we're going to keep totally going for Hannibals here. So there's 10 minutes left in the window for Hannibal. So go ahead and just have fun, keep going. Let's actually do we want to do a prediction on that? We could. Let's start a prediction. Wow. Okay, I'll just catch another one, I guess. And we'll make that a... How long is it until... We'll give you a nice, good chunk of prediction here. Okay. There. I set up a prediction. We'll see. Well, let's add a little bit of fun to this. Do you think we'll ever get a new ocean fishing route? I really hope so. Really, really do hope so. If it's not like more, if it's not more of the Ruby route, you know, they could do a new one. Viewers in your region can only predict without using any fish bits. Oh, are you in like Belgium or something? Also, before you make your prediction, I guess I probably should have said, the next fish is the Undecided. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. No, that makes sense for the Netherlands. I know that they're very strict on that. I was once doing work with this one game. This was like 10 years ago. And we were putting together a competition tied to our game with user-generated content. And not like the worst idea of a thing, but we wanted to make sure that we did it right because we were working with a very popular IP, and we didn't want to diminish anybody or anything. And we started talking to a lawyer about how do you run what do we need to do to run like this international contest. And this was a big New York law firm that was helping us do this. And he goes, well, if you want to do the entire world, here's the countries you have to look out for, and then spent the next 30 minutes explaining all the different laws in the different countries that we would have to deal with. Canada, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, UK, Brazil, China, Japan, or the other ones, Portugal, I think, all had these very unique laws. And then we started talking about individual states in the United States. It is very difficult and very expensive, notably. Oh, this is probably an alligator garfish. It is, if you wanted to run a properly global contest that has, say, physical or monetary rewards tied to it, at least back in the day, to my understanding, not a lawyer, blah, 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 it's very expensive. I think we were looking at something like, oh gosh, what was it? For this contest, I think it was going to be like $25,000 to have it legally set up correctly. The conversation did happen. I should say, I don't recall if that conversation happened, but I think some of us were thinking it. Yeah, Belgium does really, 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 I think good, strict laws for at least game gambling. They were the ones who pioneered the loot box laws and stuff like that. Alright, 4 minutes left in Hannibal. Am I still recording? So, if you ever plan to run an international contest that involves some form of valuable physical or monetary prize, maybe don't. I'm using prize catch here because I only need one English Art stacks to hit makeshift bait, so why use Patience 2 at that point? Especially because I want to make sure my GP stays relatively high so I can just jump right into the next fish. I should also set an alarm. I think you can catch a sculpin off of a silverfish? Let's find out. Oh, that's not going to tell us. Oh well. Yeah, I mean that's probably why, because then they would have to comply, obviously, with the sweepstake clause. Mexico is weird. Canada doesn't like it when you give out money. Let me find my alarm so I can set an alarm for tomorrow morning. Because I'm going to watch FanFest with some friends. Not FanFest, the live letter. I need to like start trimming back the amount of things that I'm doing so I stop confusing them all. How much time do we have? A minute? Yeah, we can use makeshift bait. Again, if you are watching and you are planning to be at the NA Fan Fest in Anaheim in a little over a month, consider trying the consider joining a bunch of other fishers at the Aquarium of the Pacific on April 23rd from 4 to 6 p.m. I am hosting a meetup for everybody there, so there's an RSVP form. It closes next Friday. Quebec, I think, did get mentioned. I don't remember it specifically, but I know from other things that I've done, Quebec is weird with those as well. So the fun thing about this prediction thing is that I can see who's predicted what. And if you're the person who said, no, I probably won't, thank you for making the smart bet. But thank you to everybody else who's saying yes for the optimistic bet. Oh, a bone crayfish. Let's see if we can grab that last bite. Yeah, I remember reading that in the rules. Well, the other thing with Undecided too is that there's tech for it now. That I had to confirm. The slow wash, when it comes to using midge larva, you can use ambitious lure to basically force Gurabanya trout. Alright, well, we are on our way now. We have 10 minutes to get ready for the Undecided. The final fish of our train. We are heading to Gurabanya and the peaks. Let's see, where do we want to go? I like the peaks. Peaks are one of my favorite Stormblood zones. They're just really well put together. The other, I think one thing that I don't see a ton of zones do, though Dawn Trail does have at least Kaz, is they don't have these like long flowing rivers through them. Like we saw this a lot with like the Heavensward fish, or not Heavensward fish, the Heavensward zones. Like, Dravanian Forelands has like this big river flowing through it, obviously. Hinterlands has like the Thaliak River. And I just really like the continuity that having one river flow through, like one large river flow through an entire zone, gives to that zone. Anyways, this is the water that we are fishing in. And now, before we get too deep, I do just want to confirm my theory. Because this is the thing that I was helping a friend get through something, and I didn't have a chance to test this. So I just want to make sure that this works. Loon, thank you for coming on the train. Okay, that is it. Let me see if I can do it a second time. Yes, which Kazmauka is probably like the one exception to that, but I just really like the peaks because it has like the river just flows through like the whole thing. It has its own water features down here. Oh, that's that right there. It's like I hadn't seen that fate before. Okay. Alright, so the Undecided is the big fish of the slow wash in the peaks, and it is a mooch fish. It is caught off of Garabanya trout. And so what we're going to do is you'll basically just start with Midge Larva and Patience 2, and you'll cast out and use Ambitious Lure to 3 times or until you see you have a feeling your next bite's going to be a large-sized fish. And we're looking for those strong bites. We'll use Powerful Hook Set to reel them in. And we will store the Gurabanyan trout. And just repeat that for your whole prep. Go ahead and get at least 3 stored Gurabanyan trout, ideally 4, that you'll hold the 4th one with mooch, but you'll also want to grab at least 5 or more Angler's Art stacks in the process as well. Yeah, Towboy. The garfish can totally fake you out on the on Hannibal. Oh, I didn't use Ambitious Lure there. I haven't made my prediction yet on what I think the legendary fish... Like, I always try and make a...
The largest fish in the world is the whale shark, which can grow into more than 50 feet long and weigh several tons.
Thank you, Mortimer. Oh, congratulations on getting your Resplendent. I haven't made my prediction on where I think the prehistoric legendary fish is going to be. How much time do I have? 5 minutes, yeah. Man, we need a big aquarium to do it. Wait, hold on. When you say whale shark in an aquarium, do you mean a real-life aquarium or the Final Fantasy XIV aquariums? Because I have seen whale sharks in real-life aquariums. Oh, yeah. The Georgia Aquarium, if you ever make your way down to Atlanta, highly recommend going to the Georgia Aquarium. Probably one of the best aquariums in the country. They have a whale shark. They had 2, but unfortunately one passed last fall. Yep. Yeah, there's one in the Georgia Aquarium. They have one now. I got to see it. When I was at Dragon Con 2 years ago, I was helping set up for the aquarium night that they do. And the person that I was helping, another Final Fantasy XIV player, if you're in the Atlanta area and you go to Dragon Con, Final Fantasy XIV has a decent-sized presence at Dragon Con now, just FYI. But I was helping set up for the Final Fantasy XIV fish finding scavenger hunt at the Georgia Aquarium. And this is my first time at Dragon Con, first time doing the aquarium night. And my lead for the event was just started yelling at me if I was laying tape on the ground to cover a extension cord. And I didn't understand what she was saying, but all I heard was, Fruity, get up and go with them. And one of the aquarium staff had come over to help us get stuff, and some of the other people who were helping with our event were walking away with her. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll follow, that's fine. I thought we were getting tables or like chairs or something. And so I'm following these people around. We go up an elevator. We go up like this floor, and we go up to a second floor of the Georgia Aquarium, and then the staff woman stops at these double doors that are obviously like employee only doors. Swipes her card in, and as I'm walking up to the door, there's a window into the room that we're going to. And I thought it was like maybe like a party room and we just going to get other chairs. Again, no, it was the top of the whale shark tank. They had like a little area for people to come and stand and look down into the whale shark tank with like this massive aquarium. And oh man, I started freaking out. But yeah, so we're there, and I'm looking like over the edge, not too much because I don't want to do anything. It's like, can I take a video? Yeah, you can take a video. And the whale shark comes right up to the edge of the water where we are and swims by. This was one of the most majestic creatures that I had ever seen. It was so mind-blowing to see this one whale shark swim by us. It was huge. It was so gentle looking. It was genuinely made my night. And then the turtle showed up. And one of their big sea turtles came by. Their manta ray came by. And these are big fish. And then the other whale shark came by. And I'm just losing my mind this entire time. So me and the two other people with the Final Fantasy XIV group were just chatting with the staff member there who was in charge of invertebrates and got us back there. And I came back down and I was talking to my lead. And I was like, I had no idea that this is what we were going to. She goes, I told you where you were going. I was like, I couldn't hear you. Anyways, we have a window that's about to open. Did our prediction end? Yes, it did. So when the window opens for the Undecided, you are going to mooch your stored mooches of Gurabanian trout, and if you get a ferocious bite, you are going to use hook to reel it in, or powerful hook set if you're still using patience. And if it's not a ferocious bite, you're going to use rest and then just mooch out the next fish, or if you're out of mooches, catch Gurabanian trout the way that you did during prep, and then just immediately mooch them, don't store them. But I think Floon, you're right. That really is probably like the closest to a religious experience that I had ever had, was seeing a whale shark that close. I mean, it was like 5 feet away from me. When you run out of your mooches, before you use makeshift bait or patience 2, go ahead and catch a Gurabanian trout that's just average size, and use mooch. Getting that mooch 2 timer, rolling is just useful, and It's only 100 GP. It's not that much to spend, but it's good to get that rolling because then you have one mooch that you're not spending your patience or your makeshift bait on. It just makes it a whole lot easier. My cat is staring at me from the other side of the room right now. Again, when you get a ferocious bite, you'll use hook to reel it in, or if you're still using patience 2, you'll use powerful hook set. Alright, well, congratulations, optimists. You all win that prediction. Will Fruity catch every big fish on the train? Let me confirm that. Just let me make sure that I've done that before I do it right. There should be... Oh, there we go. 9 fish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, I did. Alright, congratulations, optimists. Oops, I totally didn't use makeshift bait there. Maybe it'll be large size. It won't. Anyways, we have 7 minutes left in this fish train. I live in Chicago, and I want to go back to the shed. I apparently, according to my parents, I have gone to the shed aquarium a fair few amount of times when I was a young baby. I do not remember the shed aquarium at all, because it was like when I was 2, and that was decades ago. But apparently I loved it, and it's on my list of aquariums to go and actually see. Baltimore, I haven't been to. Actually, it's easier for me to say which ones I have been to, which is Adventure Aquarium in Camden, Georgia Aquarium, St. Louis Aquarium, Mandalay Bay Aquarium, not Monterey Bay, Mandalay Bay, the one in Vegas. Did I say Seattle? Been to Seattle. And Ripley's Aquarium in Toronto. Those I've been to. I want to go to Monterey Bay. Aquarium of the Pacific I want to go to, which that'll be taken care of next month. And then I want to do Shed again. And the Baltimore Aquarium. Probably the New York Aquarium as well. There's an aquarium in France that I want to go to, which I believe is actually called Lenosha. Which one is it? Oh, sorry, Nausicaa. Not Lenosha. Nausicaa. Centre National de la Mer is in France. It is Europe's largest public aquarium, featuring over 58,000 creatures, and it has a 10 million liter tank. It also has the largest single pane viewing window, I believe, of all world aquariums, I think. It's, I think, up in... Yeah, it's in northern France. In Boulogne-sur-Mer. Blue Planet in the UK, I went when I was way younger. It had a cool glass tube. Yeah. Oh, I guess I got a second one. Yeah, so I want to do a few of those aquariums. Isn't that just the channel tunnel? You hope you don't see any fish in the channel tunnel. That's very much a, if you see fish in the channel tunnel, you have big problems. But yeah, no, there's a bunch of aquariums I want to see. But travel is not happening right now. So, Aquarium of the Pacific will be my next one. I'll do Aquarium of the Pacific. And then I'll do St. Louis Aquarium and the Georgia Aquarium. I've been to the Georgia Aquarium. Obviously, I was just talking about it. Yeah, there was a time last fall that I went to... Hold on, let me do this right. Let me do it in my head. So I went to 3 aquariums in 3 months. Because I did Georgia Aquarium, I did the St. Louis Aquarium, and I did the Ripley's Toronto Aquarium in 3-month time last fall. Because I just went everywhere I was traveling. Basically, if I travel and there's an aquarium and I have the opportunity to go, like the free time, I will go. Oh, we have someone in the river. All right, window closes in 2 minutes. Hey, even aquariums at zoos are good. Like I would totally go to a great zoo if there was FanFest. If the FanFest this year wasn't in Anaheim but it was in San Diego, I probably actually San Diego was probably on the list of places I would go to. But that would because my friend would drag me there. The San Diego Zoo was on the list of places that we would do a meetup instead of just an aquarium. I think like if I did the EU aquarium meetup as well, I think the Berlin Aquarium is part of the Berlin Zoo, so we probably would have just done like the Berlin Aquarium and Zoo as a meetup thing. But if we're counting like aquariums that are part of zoos, I've been to a bunch of those as well. All right, 30 seconds. Get your last casts in. Oh wait, it looks like we got our last catch. So I'm gonna reel this one in real quick and see if we can get one more. I think the impressive part too is outside of the Winter Queen and Judgeray, we caught every fish at least twice. This is a first. I have been running fish trains since 5.2 when we first conceived the idea of a fish train. Was right after the first diadem ranking. This is the first time I think that I've ever done a 100% completion of a fish train for a multi-hour fish train. Oh, I don't have play dead on this character, so we're just gonna sit and go blah 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 blah. Oh wait, I'm too tall. I can't blah blah blah. That's just funny. But, alright, is there anything else? No. Anyways, thank you everyone for coming out to the third Learn to Big Fish fish train. These have been like once a month. I'm gonna try and get them to every other week. So I'm gonna try and do 2 a month now. Or at least have at least 2 fish trains a month, because people seem to be asking for those a lot, and I think it would be just really nice and fun to do. So please be on the lookout for those as well. I hope you learned something, and if you didn't learn something, I hope you did at least have fun. So, I do need to head off. I have some things to do before I go to bed. By the way, Frost Moon Goddess, thank you for that follow. I did see that. I forgot to mention it, but thank you so much. Let me see. Okay. So, once again, thank you everyone for watching. My name is Fruity Snacks. I do mostly Final Fantasy XIV content, and it's usually around fishing, but if I'm not doing Final Fantasy XIV content, it's still about fishing, most likely. But you can follow me on these following places. Fruity Snacks on YouTube, Fisher Fruity on Blue Sky and Twitter, though admittedly, Twitter is probably going to stop being supported relatively soon, because I think I've gotten everybody over from Twitter. So that'll probably stop relatively soon. So Blue Sky is the place to follow me, and if you don't follow me on Blue Sky, you can follow me here on Twitch and on YouTube. You can also subscribe and get some emotes of dancing moras. They're fun and cute, and you can use them with your own favorite streamers everywhere you want. Damn it, there's ads. Let me wait. Anyways, we're gonna wait a second. But if you're on YouTube, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. I will see you back again on Monday. We will be back on Monday for a Mahjong night stream, so if you're interested in playing, learning, or otherwise watching Mahjong, or critiquing my ability to play Mahjong, you'll be able to do that on Monday. We'll be playing that on Primal, most likely. But you can follow me on the socials for that information. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and YouTube, I will see you soon. Twitch, if you're still watching, stay right there. Don't go anywhere, Twitch. But YouTube, thank you all for watching.